very excited for our fans, our ownership, our city. You know, winning a closeout game on the road is extremely difficult. Cleveland threw a hellacious game at us. You know, we were down 19, and you know, Ty's run of shot making in the second quarter got us back into it. And then you know, we just had a lot of guys that played extremely hard, and we just said, hey, let's hang in this thing, try to wear them down, and see if we can outlast them. And essentially, you know, that's what happened. You know, Toppin made some great plays at the end of the third. You know, Nembhard was clutch again. Ty was great. Pascal was great. And Miles had a couple of huge rebounds at the end. So really thrilled for our guys. And, you know, we'll see what happens next.
You've talked about wanting more than this, but a lot of franchises, you know, struggle to make the conference finals at all. To do it 2 years in a row, what does that mean to you?
Look, we're talking about 8 more wins for an NBA championship. You know, the league is wide open this year. I mean, there are a lot of great teams, but it's wide open, and we've just got to keep believing. We got a great group of guys who have committed to one another, and you know, we have a formula that works for us when we really are steadfast about sticking with it, and we play an efficient, clean game. And so, you know, we got some time to rest up a little bit, and we'll see whether it's New York or Boston.
You talked about just being able to wear them out, basically. At what point can you start to sense that you have that advantage again? What are the things that you see, I guess, in another team that tells you that you have that endurance edge at that point?
Well, listen, Cleveland's banged up. That's well documented. But you know, to me, I heard this one time. You know, in the year we won in Dallas, and there was a lot of stuff about, you know, the other team losing the series, and somebody made the comment, the winning team writes the script. And you know, I just have to give our guys credit. They earned this. I mean, this is one of the best teams in the league. You know, injuries, dings or no dings, and they had a great year. And I'm sorry that their season had to end like this in a way. You know, I mean, Kenny did an amazing job. Their guys, you know, they just kind of had the perfect season, and then we came along and we're hot at the right time. You know, so, but as far as the wear down thing goes, you know, we need to be persistent. We need to make it hard, and you know, we need to play within ourselves.
You mentioned the Haliburton shots. Obviously, he picks up a couple fouls there early. You know, he has to come out. You have to shake up the rotations a little bit. Just what do you feel like you guys did well to hang in there? What do you think he did well to hang in there at that point when he's got to kind of shake up his rhythm a little bit from usual and get back in there at different times?
Yeah, I mean, there are unusual things that happen in a series, and particularly in elimination games. And we had a lot of stuff going on. I mean, I ran Pascal a lot longer than normal in the first quarter. Ty got the 2 quick fouls. And then I got Ty back in the first quarter, and then things were just a little bit haywire. But that's why you have a team. Now, Thomas Bryant in the second half gave us some of the greatest minutes you can ask of a backup center. You know, I mean, he ran, he rebounded. The 3 in the right corner was enormous during a run where, you know, we were starting to get into their legs a little bit. And you know, his enthusiasm is just, it's been, you know, it just permeates our team.
Miles Turner had, there was kind of the chase down block he had on Donovan. It seemed like Donovan kind of slowed down, tried to get the foul, and he managed to get that thing clean. How big is that shot?
Yeah, I mean,
all of Miles in general.
Yeah, I mean, people look at playoff victories and, you know, oftentimes point to great scoring performances and triple doubles and stuff like that. I mean, series defining plays oftentimes are loose ball effort plays. And, you know, Miles with that rundown block, that was key. I mean, I don't remember what the score was, but it was such an amazing momentum play that it took away some of their juice, and they were in the process of making a big run.
Rick, it seemed like you guys slowed them down inside. I think they had 34 paint points in the first half, and things kind of evened out with them for the rest of the game with the Cavs. So what was going on there, you think, and how important was that for you guys down the stretch?
Well, at halftime, we just talked about the fact that we weren't creating enough friction out there defensively. We were taking bodies off of bodies. There was too much space, too many angles, and they were getting what they wanted, And so, at the point of attack, we started meeting them sooner, and regaining some leverage that we needed, and we survived it. But I mean, this crowd is off the hook. It's just. And at the beginning of the game, they turned the decibels up. I've been in here enough times. I know when they're turning that thing up a little bit, and this place was lit. So this was a tough environment, but our guys used the noise and the commotion to narrow their focus, and that's what you got to do in these big moments in these big games.
Garland had that one drive where the Red Sea kind of parted, and you called the timeout less than a minute into the quarter. What were you trying to clean up there?
Well, they had scored once, and then, we came out of halftime and we blew a play that we had called. We didn't execute. They scored, and then we had miscommunication, and we trotted back, and we just allowed a guy to just defiantly just trot in there and lay the ball in, and we came in the timeout and just said, no more, This isn't us, and our guys turned it around. They went back out there, and we got, I don't remember the exact sequence, but we got a couple of needed buckets. I mean, the thing went to 8, and I think we got it back to 4, and then we were back, and the game was in touch still.
Was there a point during the season where you saw that, we can get hot, we can go back to a conference finals?
Well, I mean, ever since January 1st, we've been on a pretty significant run, but you don't get ahead of yourself and think about those things or talk about those things. You try to stay in the moment with process and all that kind of stuff, and our guys have been great with it. They've been great with it, and but as the season has unfolded, it's just been clear to me that it's one of the most wide open years that we've seen. And so, we've got to look at this thing as, just being very opportunistic. And that's what we were in this series. We were not favored in one game. I mean, the lowest point spread against us, I don't know, was 5.5 or something like that. And so, that was something that fueled our guys too.
Rick, making it this far, you get a lot of national attention. What do you hope the country is learning about your Pacer team?
I don't care about the attention. What matters to me is the guys in the locker room. Attention this time of year can be a curse. The wrong kind of thing. We can't start reading our press clippings. We can't start doing all that stuff. I mean, it happened to us a little bit after Game 2. Tyrese had 2 historic game winners in 8 days. We sat on a 2-0 lead, getting 2 on the road for 2.5 days, and got absolutely smashed at home. I mean, it wasn't close, and it was ugly. And so we got the wheels back on the wagon in Game 4. This first half tonight was not good and not fun. But the second quarter, we got things a little bit back on course. And then, we just kept working the game and kept wearing on them.
Last one, guys. One of us, Aaron Nesmith, one guy didn't bring up 13 points, 13 rebounds. How much growth have you seen from him on the glass, and how important, obviously, is that piece? You guys end up up one on rebounds. They got some second chance, but you still managed to keep that relatively together. How big was he on the glass to complete some of those defensive stops?
Yeah, look, our starting group, Aaron had 13, Pascal had 8, Miles 7. Nembhard 3, Haliburton 6. In Game 3, Tyrese didn't have 1 rebound. And then in Game 4, I think he had 3 in the first 2 minutes, and then tonight he had a huge one down the stretch of crunch time. And so, look, you got to get your hands dirty to win in the playoffs. You got to get your whole body dirty, to win on the road in an environment like this. So I'm really proud of our guys, and we'll look forward to the next challenge.
Thank you, guys.
Ty, you said before that this playoff run feels different because last year you guys, it was like your first time. This time you're expected to be here. How does that make this win feel different to you?
Yeah, man, it's a special feeling, to be honest with you. I'm not gonna sit here and talk like I got so many years of experience. I'm in my 5th year, but something I've learned from my vets and just being in the NBA for enough time is to not take winning for granted. And this is a special time. Back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals. We're not done. We still got ways to go, but it's a special feeling, man. And watching the lottery last night, I remember being our representative at the lottery a couple of years ago, and not wanting to to go back. So it's special, man. This group is special. This has been built by many different moves, and adding P has been huge for us, and we just kind of went from there. But yeah, man, I don't take this for granted. It's a lot of fun, and winning is fun. So we just want to continue to do what we're doing and just take this a day at a time. Enjoy this one tonight, but be ready for whoever's next.
You guys hadn't had a 30-point score the whole postseason until you today. What does that say about your team and, of course, the night you just had?
Yeah, it's just a balanced effort, man. We're different than every other team in the NBA. We don't just have one guy who scores all the points, or I think we defeat teams in different ways. We move the ball. The ball is flying. We got a lot of different guys making shots, making plays. We've preached our depth all, for the last couple of years, and it's paying off now. So, I had a great game, but I think a big part of that was guys were finding me, putting me in the right spots, and we didn't panic after that rough start to the first quarter. We knew they were going to throw a punch. We talked about that. We knew that they were going to, throw a haymaker there, but I thought we weathered the storm the right way and got going from there. So really proud of our effort and, proud of this group.
Pascal, just a minute ago, Rick was talking about that it is, the championship window is potentially there. You need 8 more wins. You've won one before. What makes you believe this team can do it?
Well, first of all, do I count as one of your vets?
Oh.
Yeah, sure.
I appreciate that. But no, I think for me, I like you said, you can't take it for granted. Like I've always told this story. It's like once I got in 2019, we got there, and I was like, I was in my 3rd year in the league, and I just felt like automatically like I'm gonna be right back. Like we're gonna do this again. Obviously, we had that year after that where we did well. We went to the conference final or something like that. But after that, it was rough. So you can never take it for granted. And for me, it's just like we have a great opportunity. Last year, like we literally where we was at last year. And when we got in the summer, we talked about getting better. Like this is the opportunity now to get better. Show that we took a step. And that's the mentality that we have going into the next games is we have a real opportunity and we can't take it for granted. I can't stress it enough.
Ty, you've used the word wear down effect a lot to explain this team. How much does that explain tonight? I guess the trajectory, the way this game went. I mean, how much does the way you guys were able to come back, erase a 19-point lead like you did? How much does that explain by wear down effect?
Yeah, I mean, just picking up full court, amping up our pressure. I think you can wear down in many ways, but from our defensive effort and energy and output from everybody, when our second group comes in, them TJ harassing guys full court is important. I think what Andrew and Aaron do on the ball is amazing, and I think me and Pete both see what those guys do in our first group, and that makes us want to get up and pressure full court as well. Obviously, that's a big part of the wear down effect. But I think offensively, our pace, it's hard to play at our pace, for over a 7-game series. It's hard to play at our pace in a 1-game series. So I think we're doing a great job playing our way, controlling what we can, and I really feel like that's important. Coach has been stressing that the last 2 years. Just it's not about 1 game. It's how can you wear on teams for 48 minutes every game, every day. And I feel like we did that with our physicality. We did that with our pace, many different ways. But like I said, just really proud of the the output from this whole group.
You obviously picked up the 2 fouls.
You guys got down.
Go ahead, Steve.
You guys got down by 19. You had games to spare. You had a home game Thursday if you needed it. What was it that you sort of drew on to make sure that tonight was the night?
I mean, I think like Ty said, like we always know that with our physicality and the way we play, we can we can always be in the game, and it's just a matter of time until like our pressure and the things that we do gets to a team. So and we've been in situations before, so we don't really we don't panic. I think obviously it's not a good habit to have, getting down. But I think for us I just try to get the guys to continue to calm down, play our game, follow the game plan, and once the game keeps going, we just believe that we can always be in the game.
Now you pick up the 2 early fouls. Obviously, you had to take a seat early. How does that change the rhythm, and what was it like for you to work your way back into it? Obviously, then hit 5 threes in the second quarter. What was that like, just in terms of changing your rhythm and getting you back into it, and what got you going?
Yeah, suspect. First 2 fouls. But I Coach took me out. I was a little frustrated. But I'm a guy who, I don't foul a ton. I have a really low foul rate. So it didn't really change anything for me. I just tried to, be smart when he got me back in there. I had like 1 shot going into the second quarter, so or maybe 2. So I was trying to be aggressive. Shots started falling. Just trying to play the right way and let the game come to me. But yeah, those first 2 fouls were definitely frustrating. But I thought Andrew did a great job of keeping us afloat. Andrew and P and the guys kept us afloat there. And then when I got back in, just tried to be who I am. And guys did a great job of moving the ball. I felt like in the first quarter we were floating outside on the perimeter too much, not getting downhill enough. We got to the penalty pretty early in the second quarter and then just kind of hooped from there. But I think we just got to keep stressing getting downhill. We get to the paint, can put teams in blender. That's when we're at our best. So thought we did a much better job of that as the game went on. But yeah, I was trying to play the right way. I don't know about them fouls though.
You guys kind of both mentioned it, but the difference of going to the conference finals this year, the feeling you guys have versus last year, how would you compare it?
I mean, I think it feels good, but I think we're a little bit we're greedy at the end of the day. Like we feel like we've been here before. So I don't think last year we could have been this is the first time in a while that we did we were just here last year. So I think for us it's just that focus got to shift. We got to be wanting more, and to me that's what I'm gonna continue to preach to the guys. And I can sometimes sound like the I'm trying to kill the party kind of thing, where it's everybody want to be excited, and I'm just I'm just man, I want more. You know what I mean? That's the feeling that I have, and I want to continue to just get that to my teammates and make sure that we all have that mindset of wanting more, because like you said, we was just here, we did it, so now we have an opportunity to get better.
You guys have mentioned physicality, and I think there's a narrative to this series that you guys beat up the Cavs, and did you feel like that was kind of the key for you, to be extra physical with them? Kind of to the wear down question, is that something you could sense when you get a couple wins here in games 1 and 2?
I think we just ourselves. We playing pace of basketball, and I don't think we were thinking about any of that stuff. We just being us.
Pascal, go ahead.
You guys have talked a lot about just how other big plays make a difference that aren't just shots or whatever. Miles Turner has that chase down block of Donovan, who make it seem like Donovan was trying to slow down to get him there to try to draw a foul, but he gets it clean, and then Drew has the block after that. How big is that play? That they could have gone up 10 on that bucket. How much of that will make a difference for you guys?
Yeah, unbelievable play, man. I think we just had so many different guys make plays throughout the course of the game, but I thought that play was huge because, we started the third quarter on some bullshit. Sorry for my language. Sorry, my fault. We started the third quarter.
I'm supposed to keep you in line, man. That's why I'm here.
We started third quarter rough, and Miles I thought made a huge play right there, and Drew, came down and made another big play as he should, because he turned it over. But I think that right there kind of got us going there in the third when we started slow, and then we just kind of rode the wave from there. But I mean, there's so many plays in the stretch of the game. TB after getting blocked, thought he got fouled, gets a big steal, fast break dunk, kind of ignites us. I thought we just had a lot of different guys chip in, man. So total team effort, and just like I said, really proud of this group.
Yeah, shout out Miles, because he obviously he could have been frustrated, the game. Maybe he didn't get involved as much in the offense or whatever, but that's what Miles do, man. He just kept fighting and made big plays for us.
Drew, second year in a row you guys have done this. Does it still feel the same as last year? Is it exciting? Is it less exciting because you've done it before? How are you feeling going into another conference finals?
Just as exciting, super excited about the opportunity ahead. Last year was more new for us, so we're all kind of just excited and maybe too complacent to be here. I think now we want to push the limit and see what we can do with it.
The answer might just be that expectations, but what lessons did you guys learn last year in that stage to take to this year?
In the conference finals, I think the biggest problem we had last year was closing out games, and I think with our connectivity and being together for another year, we've gotten better at doing that this year, and I think we'll try to look to do that in the next series going forward.
Down 19 in the second quarter today, what do you feel like you guys changed or summoned to come back and win this one?
Yeah, I think we flipped the script in terms of getting into the paint. Our offense was better movement, led to better shots for us, and then we also, once we made those shots, we could pick up and play them full court, and we just made them play our tempo at that point. And Ty was huge. He hit some big shots in that second quarter.
There's one play early in the third where Miles kind of has a chase down block on Donovan, and I think Max gets it, and you get a block right after that. You guys could have fallen behind by 10 at that point. One, just how big was that? Just how important was Miles getting that thing started, timing that thing up, and blocking that shot without fouling?
Yeah, no, those are the plays, the little plays that don't maybe go unnoticed sometimes, but they're huge. You know, that could have been an easy just 2 points, momentum swing type of play, and we talk about giving that extra low percent. And that was one of those plays where he gave it and gave me the opportunity to kind of make another block. So a big play by Miles.
You guys have talked a lot about wear down effect, and it seemed like that certainly made a difference tonight. I guess at what points do you start to see that come into play for you guys? At what point can you kind of tell that endurance is playing in your favor?
Yeah, I'm not sure how you could tell, but I think it's a slow progression. I think throughout game to game, as the game gets into the fourth quarter, it's tough. We play physical, we play fast, we have a lot of depth. So I don't know if we see it in them. We just feel it. I don't want to say that, but we feel it.
You obviously had some big shots in the fourth quarter, a couple of threes in that three-point play after Donovan hits the three to get back. We just wanted to talk about that shot first, the three-point play. Just what are you seeing there? What are you trying to do, especially after he hits a big one, to get back within the possession?
I'm not sure what the score was at the point of the time. I mean, it was just trying to score the ball. They were denying Ty. We were running a little play at the top of the key. It kind of got blown up, and I just wanted to get downhill, see if I could make a play.
I know we talked about it throughout the series, but I mean, you obviously made Donovan work as you did for over the course of this. I mean, how do you feel like you got better in that matchup from game to game? How do you feel like you made improvements each time, just making it a little bit harder for him?
Yeah, I don't know even how hard I made it on him. Dude's tough. He's physically gifted, can really get downhill. He's hard to stay in front of, can shoot three, can finish at the rim. So I just try my best to play hard out there, be a pest, but it's not going to stop a guy like that.
Along those lines, you guys are one of only a handful of teams that have beaten the Cavs multiple times, and I mean, to take them down in 5 playoff games, like, do you feel like you unlocked something with how to beat them, or like throughout the course of the regular season that carried over, or in this series, or?
Sorry, say that one again?
Did you unlock something with how to beat this Cavs team? I mean, just having they won 64 games, not many teams beat them multiple times.
No, I mean, not many teams play them as much as we did too. So I think we tried to make it tough on them. In terms of did we figure out how to beat them, I'm not exactly sure. We beat them in this 7-game series in this 2-week span, but yeah.
Just gotta give it to my teammates for just, keeping that trust into me, and then, just having me out there to just contribute to the guys out there.
Carlisle mentioned you guys 8 wins from a championship. You've won one before. What gives you the belief that this group can do it too?
The resiliency that we show, man. We're a close team, and every time everybody doubts us, we just clash together and just figure out a way, man. You got to show real love around here, and this team really has a real love between each other.
Talk TV, what does this mean just to come in here and obviously get to an Eastern Conference Finals?
That's big for us, man, especially a win against a very great Cavaliers team throughout the years, especially on the road, man. It feels great to be able to get that win and, establish that camaraderie with my teammates and, be forward and looking forward to the next one.
TV, I think you had one moment where you had a shot blocked and you ran back out of steal and turned it into a dunk the other way. Basically, just kind of take us through that sequence. Basically, what are you kind of thinking in that moment, and just what did you have to do just to get back in that play and go make something happen?
There's a lot of ups and downs throughout a basketball game, especially a playoff game like this. But, I'm just happy I was able to make the read on the defensive end in order to help our team, get the steal and for us to get a bucket too.
This team went to the conference finals last year. What did you see when you got here that sort of gave you an inkling into what this team was capable of?
I was just watching this team from last year and throughout the years, man, just seeing what they're capable of. And I told them from the start, even now I still believe the same thing. I always wanted to come and contribute and not be detrimental to the team. And I'm happy that third quarter went my way and we could, in order to get this win on against a very good Cavaliers team.
Feels good. Feels good to be back, where I think everybody in this room believes we belong. So.
What did you guys learn last year from your conference finals experience that you feel like you can do better this year?
Just experience being ready for the moment, taking it game by game, not getting ahead of ourselves, and, just getting ready.
What just kind of shook you guys out of it earlier? I think you were down 19. Obviously, Ty started hitting threes, but what got better in terms of process in the course of that second quarter?
Just fight, chip away, do the little things. I thought we didn't start the game with enough fight, enough boxing out the little, like I said, little things, and we were able to flip a switch and chip away little by little in that second quarter, and we were able to make a run, and we kept going up.
13 boards for you tonight. We've talked a lot about rebounding and your progress there, basically. What does tonight tell you about how far you've come as far as that's concerned? What do you feel like you did well on the glass?
Like I just said, one of the keys for us to beat this team was rebounding, and I knew that, and I knew I had to be great on the board. So, I made it a point of emphasis for myself to be better this series, and it's going to be the same in the next round, no matter who we play. I'm just going to continue to crash the boards and try and limit them to one possession.
Aaron, how nice is it just to have a little bit of a breather? It may not be long, but just lock this in already, just to get a little bit of a break.
Yeah, it's good. I think everyone on this team, needs a little break. 1 to 2 days is good, but we're right back to work. We're ready. I think everybody in this room is more excited, and I think we're ready to start game planning and practicing for the next round.
When did you know this group could make it back here?
As soon as we lost Game 4 in Boston. I thought everybody had the right mindset. I think we all used it as fuel for this summer. And once again, everybody believes we should have been in this spot again, and now we're here, and we're ready to take advantage of it.
You guys talked a lot about wear-down effect. I guess at what point do you feel that that's working for you? When do you get a sense that it's turning, I guess?
Through the course of the series. You can see it on other teams' faces. They're tired, their hands are on their knees, and we're continuing to run. So it's just, game by game, quarter by quarter. You may not see it in the beginning, but they feel it.
You guys are one of, I think, 5 or 6 teams that beat the Cavs multiple times this year. There weren't a lot of teams to do it. What do you feel like you unlocked, particularly beat them in 5 games?
We're a deep team. We just played together. We played team basketball. We played hard. We fought. We limited them to one shot as best as we could. I still thought they did a good job of that. They're a talented team over there. They're really good. But we just brought the fight. And, we were able to make shots and, get wins.
They cut it to 1 a couple of times. Donovan hit a few of those dagger threes. What kind of allowed you guys to – it seemed like you always had an answer in the fourth quarter.
I say it every time. We're a resilient group. We've been in that position hundreds of times now. We know how to handle four-quarter runs. We know how to come back from behind. I think we're just built for the moment, to be quite frank with you. So we continue doing that.
I was going to follow up on that. When the calendar flipped to 2025, everything seemed to kind of click. You were resilient. You were making these runs down the stretch and winning these games. How important is that in a situation like tonight?
It's learning experiences. Everything is about experiences, whether you win, lose. There's always something to learn from. And I think with all those close fourth-quarter games, whether we're down or it's tight, we learn from those. And we just are able to translate that into our future games really well.